So R, what is this thing? Well, if you go to the website for the R project for statistical computing, which basically oversees R, it says, R is a free software environment for statistical computing and graphics. In terms of a quick and concise way of describing R, I can't really think of anything better than that. R has been around since 1995, and R was derived from a language called S. The software S goes all the way back to 1976. Now you might think that R would follow Q like it does in the alphabet, but in this case, R followed S. To a lot of people, R is going to seem kind of old school. It does not use GUIs. It is entirely based on line commands. Commands in R consist of two basic parts. There's the function, which describes in general terms what you want to do, and there's the arguments, which provide details about how to execute the function. Let's look at this example for reading data into R. In this case, the function is read.table, and as the name suggests, it's used for reading data from a table. And then we have the arguments, which get into the details. In this command, those details include the name of the file from which the data is being read, 2009education.csv, the fact that the file has headers, that the individual values in the data are separated by commas, and that the various columns contain different types of data. The first column contains character data, followed by 3 columns of numerical data. So that, in general, is what R is. But why use this language with those kinds of complicated-looking commands that you have to type out? One reason is that R is free and open access. That is, free in the financial sense that you do not need to pay to download R or pay any kind of subscription. But it's also free in the sense that you can use it for whatever you want, and if you want to modify it to do things that it doesn't already do, you are also free to do that. R is supported by a very large and active worldwide user community. In addition to continually expanding upon R's capabilities, this community participates in online forums to address questions from other users of R. Like most software platforms, R has built-in help functions, and there are books and websites about how to use R. But on top of that, if you ever get stuck or can't figure something out in R, and there's a pretty good chance that might happen someday, you can draw upon these communities for help. You're never alone. R is also incredibly adaptable and customizable. When you first download and install R, it's already very capable. However, as of the recording of this video in the summer of 2022, R users have created nearly 18,500 additional packages of functions to enhance R's capabilities and have made these packages available to the worldwide R community. If you have a few minutes to spare, I encourage you to Google the phrase "list of R packages." Then, click on the link for available CRAN packages by name. And now, I will close with just a couple more reasons that R is something you might want to explore. You might consider it inconvenient that you have to write out your commands in R, and you would not be the first person to think that. However, it can actually be a good thing. The reason is that it helps you keep a record of the precise steps and methodologies used in your analyses, and this makes your work reproducible by both yourself and other researchers. Also, there's a software called RStudio that serves as a front end and editor for R, and it makes R appreciably more user-friendly. That concludes our second video on R. Hope to see you for video number 3. Where do I get R and RStudio?